What's the creepiest thing you've seen in broad daylight? It was an unusually warm Saturday afternoon in early spring. I had decided to take a walk through my neighborhood park, something I did often to clear my head and catch some sun. The park was usually full of families, joggers, and dog walkers. The sounds of children playing mixed with birds chirping, and the distant hum of traffic made for a comforting backdrop. That day, though, something was off. As I followed the winding path that skirted a small pond, I noticed a crowd gathered near one of the benches. It wasn't a large group, maybe a half-dozen people, but they weren't typical park visitors. Their posture was stiff, their eyes wide, and they were clustered closely, whispering urgently. Curious, I slowed my pace and moved closer without wanting to be noticed. What I saw next chilled me. On the bench sat a man, mid-30s, wearing a rumpled suit that looked like it hadn't been washed in weeks. His hair was greasy and tangled, and his face was pale and almost gaunt. His eyes were fixed straight ahead, but they weren't looking at anything real. They were glassy, empty, like he was somewhere else entirely. In his lap was a small, worn briefcase. It was old, leather, cracked around the edges, and resting on top was a large butcher knife. The blade was gleaming in the sunlight, spotless, but it was the way he held it that was unsettling. Not tightly, but loosely, almost casually, like it was no big deal to have a razor-sharp weapon resting in your lap as you sit in a crowded public park. The people around him, some looked like park staff, others just curious passersby, kept glancing nervously at the man and then at each other. One woman was on the phone, whispering urgently to someone. Another man kept pacing back and forth, hands jammed in his pockets, eyes darting to the bench every few seconds. I stood frozen for a moment, unsure if I should call the police or try to get someone else's attention. But before I could do anything, the man suddenly stood up. The knife glinted in his hand as he rose, and for a moment I thought he might lash out. But instead, he started walking slowly along the path, the blade still visible and loose in his grip. People started backing away, clearing a path for him like he was a dangerous animal. Some were recording on their phones, others simply watching with wide eyes. The man didn't seem to notice or care. He didn't say a word or acknowledge anyone. His expression was blank, almost serene in a terrifying way. I followed from a safe distance, my heart hammering in my chest. He wandered for several minutes, through the park's picnic area, past playgrounds filled with kids, and near a crowded coffee cart where people continued to order their drinks, unaware or ignoring what was happening nearby. At one point, a little girl on a scooter nearly crashed into him. He didn't flinch or move aside. Her mother rushed over, grabbed the girl, and hurried away without even looking at him. Eventually, the man stopped near a busy intersection at the park's edge. The police arrived just moments after. Two officers stepped out of their squad car, hands on their radios, eyes locked on the man. The man raised the knife slowly, then lowered it, repeating the motion as if in a trance. The officer spoke calmly but firmly, instructing him to drop the weapon. For a terrifying minute, it seemed like he might not comply. But then, just as suddenly as he had appeared, he dropped the knife on the pavement and sat down on the curb. The officers cuffed him without struggle and led him to their car. The crowd dispersed quietly, the park slowly returning to its usual rhythm as if nothing had happened. I stayed for a while, watching the spot where the knife lay abandoned. It felt surreal. A man wielding a butcher knife walking through a park full of people in broad daylight, like it was just another day. The way no one intervened, the casual fear that rippled through the crowd, the eerie calm on the man's face, it all stayed with me. That afternoon reminded me how close danger can be, even when the sun is shining and the world seems normal. How people can move through public spaces carrying invisible burdens, or maybe something darker, without warning. I've walked that park dozens of times since, but I never forget that day. The man with the knife, the crowd frozen in silence, and the fragile line between safety and chaos stretched thin under a clear blue sky.